So, it's no secret that 2026 is a killer year for video games. We got a lot of releases coming up, a lot of stuff dropping over the summer. I think it's safe to say that all three game showcases, PlayStation's, Xbox, and Nintendo's were all pretty killer, with some decent surprises, and especially not to mention it's the year of GTA 6. If you're a gamer in 2026, you're eating good. However, there is one little gem that Square Enix just, dropped recently that really surprised me. Let's go ahead and talk about it, guys. Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek027 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Adventures of Elliot Millennium Tales. However, if you want to stay up to date on all things Adventures of Elliot or Square Enix RPGs, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get on into it. So special shout out and special thank you to Square Enix for sponsoring this video and hooking me up with a review key of Adventures of Elliot. And guys, this game really shocked me. Now, when I first tried the demo of this, when it dropped on Nintendo Switch 2 months ago, before they put the demo on PlayStation and Xbox and stuff like that, it was originally marketed, during a Nintendo Switch Direct and all that stuff. The demo was exclusive to Switch for, I think, a good couple months at least, before, they made the demo available on more platforms. And when I first played it, I was like, okay, so it's an action RPG with that HD 2D style of Octopath Traveler. And I really love the Octopath Traveler games. You guys have seen me cover a couple of them here on the channel because they're really great HD 2D RPGs. Not to mention that new HD 2D Final Fantasy game that they got coming out. Whew! I cannot wait for that one. But when I really got the full copy of Adventures of Elliot, dived into it, looked more into the gameplay mechanics, saw how the game worked and stuff like that, I said to myself, this isn't just your typical action RPG. This is a very Zelda-like title. And that surprised me because I see why Square Enix now, why they targeted, the Switch 2 for their marketing and stuff like that with this game, because it was more so to appeal to, to people who like Zelda games. And when you play it and when you look at it, and I'm sure you guys can tell, from the gameplay aesthetic and stuff like that, this game feels and looks eerily like Zelda. Like, dare I say, this is basically, I would say, a mixture of Octopath Traveler and Link's Awakening. You put those two games together and boom, that is what you get when it comes to the Adventures of Elliot. It has that great combat of, a Zelda game, but, that story, that feels like more of like a Final Fantasy title or, or even like an Octopath Traveler game. And it's a really good combination that works. And like I said, when I first played it, and tried to demo out a little bit, I liked it, I enjoyed it. I just thought it was, just a typical hack and slash action RPG. I didn't pay much attention to the mechanics of the game, I was just trying it out. Because especially when they release demos for games I'm looking forward to, I tend not to play them too hard, so that way I don't get spoiled or, or burnt out for the full release. Like, the only time I'll go really hard on a demo is if, like, the character progress is, going to carry over a lot, and there's like a lot to grind in the demo and stuff like that, and it'll just give me a big boost playing the full game. Sometimes I'll take advantage of that, and that's just sometimes, on rare occasions. And don't get me wrong, they did that with this game, but I was really looking forward to it, and I was just like, you know what? I said, let me wait. I'm gonna play more of the full version, and I just chilled right there. And guys, I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised. There's no like typical leveling system in this game. You earn your character's health and stuff like the same way you do in a Zelda game. You get these little fragments that increase your health. There's really crazy challenging bosses. There's puzzle-filled dungeons, and and the combat, it literally feels just like a 2D Zelda game. Like I said, more so on something like A Link to the Past or Link's Awakening. One of those like NES or Game Boy era Zelda games, just with a more modernized combat feel. Now, the difference between this and those older Zelda games, this feels a lot smoother. Like, if I compare the combat to anything, I would probably say think more of the Link's Awakening remake that they released on Switch years ago, just with a lot more depth to it. Now, don't get me wrong, Zelda has really good combat. I'll never complain about the combat in the Zelda game, but I definitely feel like Adventures of Elliot is more in depth. Square Enix, they specialize in action RPGs, and I think that's definitely shows and it's just completely taken advantage of here. But there's so many different common similarities, it's not even funny. You got the bombs that can blow up walls and stuff like that. You have the bow and arrow. You even have the action where you can hold down your sword button and the character does like some type of super attack that can easily kill the enemies and all of that fun stuff. So like I said, guys, if you love Zelda, if you love Octopath Traveler, if you love Final Fantasy, you definitely need to give Adventures of Elliot a shot. And the coolest thing is it's available on all platforms: Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. You got nothing to lose. Like I said, if you're a Zelda fan, this is definitely one you should try out, and hopefully Square Enix continues to build on this franchise in the future, because they definitely have something solid here. But anyway, guys, y'all enjoyed today's video, smash that like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.